All right, so let me get off my soapbox real quick. Nah, I'm actually going to get back on. Theme number 4. Real love will always come back. And apologies, by the way, if you're listening to this video and assuming I'm trying to just be like this holier-than-thou righteous asshole when I'm talking about these things. I just think that there's a lot that's unethical out there and unhealthy and needs to be called out. I don't think that we should just be excited when these things happen. I don't know. I think it's important to call them out and to call a spade a spade. Like, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong. You can't defend these sorts of things. So, anyway, just want to say that. But theme number 4: real love will always come back. As I've said earlier, the quote, "If you love someone, set them free, and if it was meant to be, they'll be back with you." Whatever the quote is, I can't exactly say it word for word, but it's true, and that's what I think this movie tells you more than anything. We saw this crazy hot, fiery, passionate love. You think, okay, well, if they really were meant to be, if this was a real love, they would have lasted. And that probably would have been true. However, Allie's mom gets in the way. Allie's mom interferes in their relationship, and that's why it throws off this whole thing. Which, yeah, I guess the theme wouldn't have made any sense, but that's the theme of the movie. So, just to break down kind of what happens with Allie's mom. So, they break up, and he writes to her a one letter every single day for a year. He tries, he's expecting a letter back. She doesn't send anything. But Allie's mom intercepts the letters and holds them, stockpiles them. We'll get into why she does that in this theme, right? The reason she does that, you want to think at first. So the whole movie, you see kind of this theme of Noah not being good enough for Allie. He's poor. She's rich. They don't belong together. And her mom makes that pretty clear. They're talking at the table. He's like, yeah, I make 40 cents an hour. And everyone's like, oh my God, like this kid's broke. Which is crazy. That was 40 cents when minimum wage is still $7.50 today. I digress. You can kind of see her mom disapproves of them. And you see it in the scene where they're hopping in the river and the father's like, don't worry about it. It's just summer love. And she goes, it's trouble is what it is. So you see that happen. You then hear, when they're breaking up, the fight in the classic line, I don't want you with him. He's trash. He's trash. He's trash. Which, side note for folks that are underprivileged kids, it's just so heartbreaking to hear something like that. Like, my parents' financial status is gonna take me away from this girl I love. It ain't even my fault. Like that's wild. So we see it then. And then we see it further on where the mom's like, oh yay, you and Lon are getting together. Like I gave him your blessing, etc. She's happy for Allie for getting married, helps her with all the wedding stuff. For as far as we know, Allie's mom is against Noah for the entire movie. There's nothing necessarily that we know that illustrates overtly that she's supportive of him. She's not. She's against him, very much so. Doesn't tell Allie anything. Doesn't tell Allie you need, to rethink it, etc. Anything, right? And I don't want to say there's some conspiracy or anything like that here, but there's a twinge of something, which is that, ironically enough, Allie's mom was actually on Noah's side the whole time. And I'll tell you why. So, the critical scene that we see, which is of this theme, is when Allie's mom drives down to Seabrook and goes to the house, finds her with Noah, and says, "You need to come with me," or whatever. And early on, by the way, Allie calls out her mom and says, you don't, well, yeah, like you don't touch Daddy the way that I touch Noah, and et cetera, et cetera. And maybe her mom was pissed off that she got called out like that. I don't know exactly. But point is, she comes down, finds her, and says, "You should come back." And she's like, "I'm in love with this man, blah, blah, blah." I don't know. Her mom is just, it's a little hard to read what her intentions are. But she then says, "You need to come with me." So Allie goes with her mom, and her mom drives her, she says, "I think I know you better than you think." Drives her to this rock quarry, and she points out this man who's like shoveling gravel and is like, "You wouldn't know it, but 25 years ago, I was in love with this guy." And reveals to Allie, I love your father, I love my husband, but I think about this man. I don't know if she even says necessarily point blank, "I still love this man," but you kind of get the hint that, yeah, I still think about this guy. And she even, well, she does think about this man, because she says, "I come down here sometimes to see him, just to look at him." And that's wild. She's basically admitting what a lot of people admit, on their deathbeds, on whatever, that they still have feelings for people they once were in love with. And it's wild. And you see it right now. She says, "I still look at him," and she gets all flustered, like, "Oh, I'm such a silly woman." And she starts crying, and it's all emotional. She's like, "I love your father," blah, blah, blah. And so in this moment, we see the main other thing. Kind of what I told you about earlier, about how love isn't enough. You see it with their marriage, that her mom isn't happy in their marriage. Her mom knows that she might have married the wrong guy, but they're taken care of, so she doesn't necessarily fully regret it. But she knows that she might have made the wrong choice, and says almost so to Allie, and says, "I don't want you to make the wrong choice." And then, as we see, when she drops her off, gives her the letters that she saved from Noah, the 365 letters, which, for the record, I don't think that's 365 letters in that one bundle. That maybe looks like 100, not 300. That's a lot. 300 is a lot. Anyway, she bundles up all the letters and gives it to Allie, and then drives off, right? Basically telling her, you should be with him. And I think this is, you wonder, was this her grand plan the whole time? To me, I think it might have been. I think it might have been, because of the theme. Real love will always come back. So if Allie's mom didn't want them dating, she would have burned the letters or threw them away. Why would her mom have saved the letters? It's one thing to steal them. That makes sense. That's in line with her character. To steal them, not show them to her, that's in line. That makes sense for her to be consistent with it. But the fact that she saves them illustrates to me that they had importance, that she saved them for a reason, which was to give them back to her right before she was going to get married. Now, should she have given them to her from the jump? Yes. Should she have not waited till the 11th hour? Yes, 100%. But I think she realizes that, like, I don't know. I hate to defend her, but I kind of think it was actually a pretty solid move. Allie has this whirlwind romance in the summer, 3 months probably, right? And then goes off to college. As a mother, it was probably the better move for her to let Allie go, like kind of force her to let Noah go, and I guess roll into motion the theme of love coming back. Because imagine if they had stayed together and they tried to do long distance and they would have broken up, whatever. Like maybe she's learning from her experience. Like, yeah, we tried to give it a try when I was a kid with me and this Corey man, and it didn't work out. And so she's like trying to ensure that I guess she was just trying to test Allie's love and see, was this for real? And that's why she saves the letters. I think she was legitimately trying to test it. Because if she didn't want them together ever, she would have burned them. She would have gotten rid of them. But I think the fact that she gave it to Allie when she did illustrates that she was rooting for Noah. Because, let's say, looking from the mom's perspective, right? Allie loved this guy. He's writing to her. She's like, she needs to give other men a chance, see what's else out in the world. And once Allie makes her choice to come back to Noah, then I'll give him the letters. Then I'll let the cat out of the bag. Because it just shows that it's real. I don't know how else to put it. I guess, like, it was, when I'm saying it was real, it was genuine. It was of Allie's own accord. Allie wasn't influenced by anything. Yes, she saw Noah built the house. Saw that in the paper. That could have been a thing. That was the reminder, right? But she, that was her reminder from the world that, like, I still love Noah. And so, but she didn't have to do anything about it. She didn't have to do anything, but she acted on it. So when Allie's mom saw Allie act on this impulse, act on this love, take the destiny into her own hands. I don't know how else flowery to make it here, but Allie made the choice to go to Seabrook and see him. Once she did that, Allie's mom realized, yeah, she loves this guy. It's real. She passed the test. She illustrated the theme. Real love will always come back. So that's why she gives her the letters. Because, parents, they always want to try and protect their kids. They always want to try and, protect them from whatever they can. Should she have done that? Maybe not. But it illustrated, yeah, like, this love was real because you came back. You came back to Seabrook. I haven't said this yet, but I think that's the point, is that Allie coming back to Seabrook to see him is big. Those decisions are life-altering. Now things are so much different with social media and phones and all that shit, right? No longer do you have to get on a plane. No longer do you have to get on a boat, get in your car. No longer do you have to go somewhere to tell someone you love them or write a letter, per se. Now you can just send a text. Now you can just DM someone. Now you can just, follow them on Instagram again, which is hilariously unromantic, but we've all been there, right? That's what I find funny. things have just changed. So it's just a funny realization, right? But Allie made the choice. She made the decision, and that's why Noah knew and was so upset because he's like, you knew what this was. You came down to Seabrook because you loved me, and you wanted to see if you loved me, and you found out. You fucked around and you found out. No married woman, no engaged woman who's legitimately happy would have gone to Seabrook. Period. Period. Or at least gone through the steps that she did. Go to the lengths that she did. Go on a boat with a man. She went on a boat with this man rowing in a sea of swans. Give me a break, bro. No. I'm not in love with you. But I'll go on a boat with you in the rain with all these swans around. Come on, man. Come on now. We all know what that was. And that's the point. Things are covert, but things are overt. So that's the whole thing. Real love, it'll show. It'll show. You just got to give it time. And so that's what I think Allie's mom was doing, was giving it time. And Noah needed time too. He needed time to become himself and build the house and be at a place where he was ready. So anyway, that's theme number 4. All right, final couple themes here we got is theme number 5. Don't talk about it, be about it. So like I mentioned a lot, Noah's kind of the guy that does shit. He's the one that demonstrates he loves Allie. I don't know if we necessarily see Allie demonstrating love to Noah. She does make out with him a lot and do things a lot for him, like, kissing him, touching him, all that stuff, right? But doesn't do, doesn't make him things or, I don't know, which is kind of lame, but whatever. Noah's the romantic, right? He's the one that has to win her over. But we see Noah go to exorbitant lengths to show Allie that he loves her. We see it in the first couple scenes. He's out there jumping on Ferris wheels, hanging off bars, which he admits later is stupid. But he also, I don't condone what he did, but he also knows that she's into him. You see this look that she gives where she is looking back at him, looks at him. He knows she's interested. He definitely knows she's interested. But she's just in denial or whatever you want to say. At any rate, not the point. What I mean with whole don't talk about it, be about it, is that Noah's about it. Noah's about it to the nth degree. And you see it in the house. That's the whole thing. They have a scene where they're about to make love for the first time. And they're walking through this plantation house. And they're talking about, oh, I want everything over here, yada, yada. And she's like, oh, well, don't I get a say in it? And he goes, do you want a say in this? And she says, yeah. And that's them kind of playing their future together, right? And it's this unspoken bond they have, word, that he's going to buy this plantation and fix it up, and that's going to be where they're going to live. And that's why it's so heartbreaking when he goes to Charleston, I assume, and sees her in the sees her, number one, which is so crazy that the universe puts people together in this, sees, the universe is weird, is what I'm trying to mean. Of all times, to go to Charleston and sees her. It's crazy. And then, obviously, she's with Lon, and he, as the narrator says, loses his shit. But he builds the house, even despite his father dying, and completes the project. And doesn't sell it, by the way, because he knows that this house means so much, despite someone offering way above the asking price. He's waiting for her. He's honoring their word from earlier. That's what it means, don't talk about it, be about it. I don't think there's a time really that Noah was disingenuous, said he was going to do something and didn't do it. I bring up this theme because I don't mean to generalize, but I'm just kind of saying what I know, what I've experienced. Women usually like acts of service and quality time as their love languages. Acts of service, especially number one. They like when men spend good time with them. So planning dates, cooking, doing fun things, having good dates together, and when they do things for them. Go to the grocery store, run errands for them, fix things for them, build them things, etc. Because, and a person I went out with recently said this to me, I can go to my DMs. I can go to any bar, and any man can whisk me off his feet with any sort of combination of frivolities, glittering generalities about how beautiful I am, but only certain men are going to do things for me. And I thought that was very true and very beautiful. It's like, yeah, you're right. A lot of men just talk about it, but they're not about it. And so any man can say whatever. Talk is cheap, as they say. Actions mean more than words, blah, 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 right? That's the whole point. And we see that in this movie. What makes Allie lose her shit? She sees that Noah built the house. Now, was it necessarily that she saw Noah's photo? I don't know. That could have been a part of it. But I think the fact that he built the house, and that's such a major undertaking, that he kept his word to her, was like, oh my God. Anyway, so that's a big deal. And I think that's really what got her back with him. Because she was assuming, by the way, that he didn't love her. She was under the assumption that he didn't want to be with her because he didn't write. He doesn't love me. He didn't write me. He broke up with me. He didn't write me. So that's the assumption in which they're operating under. And so when she sees that he built the house, she's like, oh my God, he actually loves me. And yeah, so anyway, I think that's the theme of this movie is Noah's about it. And you see it also when they built the house that he gives her this painting studio with everything in it. It's amazing because she loves to paint. Has a flower on her bed, a note, arrows pointing to the room. He's such a sweet guy. He's just really such a great person in this way. And you never doubt that. Whereas with Lon, she's like, I never paint anymore. He's like, I didn't even know you like to paint. Whereas Noah knew that. And the first day that they're back together, he gets her painting supplies. That's the difference. And we also see it further, too, that Noah remains by her side. We'll get to this next, but he's with her forever. So Noah's about it. There's no doubt that Noah is about it. And that's thing number 5. Don't talk about it, be about it. You want to show someone you love someone, be about it. Say what you're going to do and do what you say. Your word means nothing unless you follow through. So follow through if you ever say anything. Because words matter. They do. All right, the final theme we got. Kind of already touched on it many times, but it's theme number 6. True love is selfless. So we don't necessarily see a lot of what happened in between the young romance and when they turn old. But you can kind of see through some photos that Allie and Noah have a great relationship throughout their life. They have children. They're happy and they have a lot of memories they share together. They have grandchildren, all that. The biggest theme that I got from this movie, we see them in their old age. Duke, as he's known by when he's old, that he sticks by her side even with dementia for years and reads her the story every day. Has a candlelit dinner with her at night, and they dance to that song that they first danced to on their first date, and then has her back. She realizes it's him, and they cry together. They share kisses, and then she sundowns because she has dementia. Has a period of sundowning is like a period of moment of confusion and disorientation due to your mental state. So she pushes him off him, and she freaks out and needs to be sedated, essentially. And he starts crying, and he's so upset because he loses her. It's the ultimate act of selfless love for him to forego, not just, people might be shouting say this, oh, he could have gone with any other woman he wanted to. He forgoed all other women. That's a big deal. But also just an easier life to be with the woman he loves. The quote that stands out every time is when he's with his family and says, "That's my girl, that's my home, that's my sweetheart. And I'm going to stay with her forever." It's just, you don't see love like that every day. And it's true. It's true love. True love is selfless. It's two people being selfless for each other. It's people sacrificing for each other. When I said earlier with love takes work, it does. And love takes sacrifice like this. He doesn't need to read to her every day. He didn't need to have a candlelit dinner with her every day or a sunset or put up with her dementia or her imagine being with someone who forgets that you exist every day. That would break my heart. It'd be hard because it's like it's not the same person, but he does it because it's worth it for those couple of minutes. And you see at the end scene, they die in each other's arms. It makes you sad. But yeah, I think that's the ultimate theme of this movie is that true love is selfless. Noah's the most selfless person ever. To be with her, to be patient with her, to be by her side in sickness and in health, in one of the worst sicknesses ever. Dementia, Alzheimer's, these neurological conditions, brain illnesses, diseases. They're some of the hardest things. Death, obviously, till death do us part. That's hard. But watching someone become a different person in front of your eyes and suffer for years, that's hard. Death does last forever. And the moments of death are very traumatic and people never really get over them. But dementia and Alzheimer's, the years of suffering, the years of pain, and then death, that's even tougher. Because you don't remember. When someone dies, bam, they could be at their height. They could be at their peak, and that's what they'll be remembered for. Whereas with something like dementia, it robs you of that image, of that, I don't know, that chance to go out on top. And that is spend years of suffering. And it's unfair, but it's an unfortunate reality of life, and hopefully we can come up with a cure sometime soon. I also think another important thing to remember with the whole love is selfless thing is that love transcends some of these barriers, right? Like I mentioned earlier, even though they're from different socioeconomic backgrounds, it doesn't sound like he has his mom around anymore, whether she's dead or whether they left. They come from two different worlds, but they still have so much similarities. They both care about their family. They both care about education and writing and things like that. They care about their community, about their friends, about working hard and enjoying life and sharing in these moments in nature and working on the house and things like that. that matters too. And I think that's an important thing, is that they love each other, they're selfless for each other, and it doesn't matter how much money they got. It doesn't matter who their parents are, where their family's from, etc. When you got love, it transcends everything. Yeah, it's a sad movie. It's a sad movie, I'll tell you that right now. But it's one of my favorites for a reason. A lot of great lines, a lot of great acting, and Noah's just a really, from top to bottom, just a really great person, and makes you inspired. It makes you want to recapture the magic. So that's theme number 6, folks. True love is selfless.
Dating with Demoldey, it's back again. Bring your family, bring your friends. It's all about the notebook. Noah and Allie. Your favorite video series, Dating with Demoldey. Dating with Demoldey, and so much fun. Dating with Demoldey, relations education for everyone. I'm a bird, you're a bird. What do you want? I want more key. They're relationship savants.
All right, so that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Dating with Demoldey. The Notebook. I mean, it's a classic movie for a reason. Great acting, but just, great story, honestly. I think that so often I was, watched some movies with my friends this weekend. Watched Before Sunrise, actually, and we'll be breaking down that trilogy sometime in the future whenever that happens. But I like the idea that, of like magic existing in love and just the feeling of love, and how a lot of times great things come out of such magical initial moments. And those are the things you remember forever, right? Those are the things that sustain you in a relationship, is just that initial spark, that initial excitement. And I think whenever I watch The Notebook, I kind of feel that again, feel that, kind of burst of, I don't know, to be honest, motivation to try and find a relationship, because that magic is infectious. As I mentioned in the video, it's really, and also I love the way that Noah kind of approaches his relationship. He's selfless. He loves his wife and is willing to do whatever for her. And I think we need more of that these days. A lot of people are, unfortunately, a little bit selfish and self-absorbed, and I think that we need to get back to the days of being selfless for each other. Both partners putting in mutual effort to make each other happy. I think that's what makes a good thing go. So that's been the 3rd edition of Dating with Demoldey. I appreciate you watching. See you next time.